hope you are well. So today is Monday, the 17th, I think, 17th of March. And in this live, I'm going to talk about mental health whilst on the wellness and weight loss journey. So we're going to get into it in just a moment, but good morning to you. I hope you've had a good weekend, whatever you were doing. If this is your first time here with me, my name is Angela. So welcome to Time Out with Angela. And on this channel, we do all things related to the health, wellness, and weight loss journey. So in my efforts to being consistent and committed, I am gonna do a quick live for you today, and I apologize if you were waiting for a live yesterday. Things just totally got away with me, but I'm here today, showing up today. So mental health on the weight loss journey, I think it's really important, because last week I was talking about and in particular on Saturday I did a live about a question that I had, and somebody had asked, well, somebody had said that they'd lost lots of weight in the past on a particular program. They stopped going, they regained the weight, and they were now going back. And when I asked them why, they said, well, because it worked. So on Saturday, I explored that about dealing with weight gain and whether programs that enable us to regain the weight, does it really work? So if you missed that one, do check that out. But linked to that, I touched on the topic of mental health. And I think that mental health is so important on the weight loss journey. And there are lots of positives to improving our mental and emotional health when we are on a weight loss journey and when we're losing weight. I know for myself, as I've lost weight, my mental health has definitely improved. My emotional health has improved. I feel good about myself. I feel confident. I feel capable of doing so many different things. It is a really, really good feeling when I have started to lose weight. So overall, really, really important and a real good positive. However, there are some negative sides to that we have to be careful of. I think we just have to be really careful and mindful of on the weight loss journey. And I'm going to talk about my mental health because I'm not in a position to talk about anybody else's. But I think there's some important things to bear in mind and to remember. When I was on my weight loss journey, and I still am, a lot of companies promote the scales. They promote weighing weekly, weighing daily, weighing regularly. And for me, that really affected my mental health more than I even realised. And it was only when I started observing how other people were being affected that it made me reflect on my own. So, for example, I would say, no, I'm just going to stick to my own mental health. I think that's only fair. So, when I was at the start of my journey, what I was doing, I was eating and moving to lose weight, and that was pressure. And I would be sailing along all week, and then just before weigh day, I would be like, I want to see a weight loss on the scale, so I need to start restricting. I need to move more. I can't eat this, I can't eat that. And then when I got on the scale, if I lost weight, I felt like, you know what, that method worked. If I stayed the same or if I gained, it was disaster. and my mental health was really impacted. And I would feel down, I would feel depressed, I would feel like, well, what's the point in trying? I was so guided by the scales more than I even realised. And it was, sorry, I got a bit of hair in my mouth. And it affected my mood. It affected my mood. It affected what I did next. It affected how I felt about myself. It affected what I believed about myself, my self-esteem, my confidence, my self-belief. Because all of those things were wrapped up. Who I was wrapped up in those scales. And I know that there's a old saying that people knock out, and they say, you know, we shouldn't be defined by the scales. But I was so much of who I was tied up in that scale. It would then, those scales would then also affect how I dealt and managed the next couple of days. And I was often on this cycle of feeling really hopeless, feeling like, you know, I couldn't lose weight. I felt that nothing I would do would ever work. And that led me down into this deep, dark path of just eating, overeating, and then restricting come weigh day. And when I was amongst the weight loss community, I realised I wasn't alone. I realised I wasn't alone, that this was something that other people did. It was quite common for other people to do the same, and people would say, you know, I'm never going to eat chocolate again, I'm never going to have a biscuit again, I'm never going to go out for a meal again. And you know, and all of that was impacting my mental health, because it's not realistic. It's not realistic to say, I'm never going to go out for a meal again, I'm never going to have a biscuit or chocolate or, you know, a bag of crisps or, you know, sweets again. It's not realistic. And I then had to take a step back and think about, what am I imposing on myself? What is it that this weight loss company, these programs that I was doing? I was doing like liquid diets, I was doing, you know, keto and Atkins, and then doing the slimming clubs. I was doing all of these things, and they have a framework, and I was working within that framework, but I was still imposing my own restrictive eating. No, I'm going to call it disordered eating, and I'm going to be careful with that word, because it's not an eating disorder. It is disordered eating, and they are two very, very, very different things. So an eating disorder is when someone has something like anorexia or bulimia, or diagnosed with binge eating. That is an eating disorder. But disordered eating means that I was just losing control. So very much disordered eating. Overeating, when I got on that scale and I didn't get the result that I wanted, that would then impact my mental health, and that would lead to disordered eating. So overeating and then restricting, also that I could see that number on that scale. So I was getting into that habit and doing that, and I didn't realize just how common that was until I was, you know, amongst the weight loss community and seeing other people doing that. And the one day, this is absolute truth, the one day, well, actually it's happened on several occasions, but I would see people absolutely breaking down, having a full-on mental breakdown, tears. absolute floods of tears, saying, I'm going to give up, I can't lose weight, absolutely having a full-on meltdown because they'd either stayed the same or had gained half a pound or a pound. And I looked at that and I would see myself in that. I'd see myself. But sometimes when you recognize it in yourself, but you don't realize how serious it is until you see it mirrored in somebody else. And I was looking at these people and I was like, oh my God, what they were doing, what I was doing was so unhealthy. It's so unhealthy. And I could see that in them. And I was like, God, they're on the brink of something serious with their mental health. And then I'd reflect and I think, do you know what? But I was there. I've been there so many times. That has been me on the brink of, losing control, and then giving up so many times in the past. So many times in the past. So, I just think that it's really important to put strategies in place for us to manage and look after our mental health. It really is. And the joke of it, the ironic thing about all of these weight loss programs and companies is they're telling us that they are there to help us put healthy habits in place. But when I was on the verge of struggling with my mental health, that wasn't healthy. How could that be healthy? It wasn't healthy at all. When I see people having on the brink of a mental health breakdown, on an emotional breakdown, because they've gained half a pound, that's not healthy. How on earth is that healthy? A healthy habit? So, I was seeing all of these things in the community. People being emotionally affected, feeling like they're just gonna binge, feeling like they're gonna give up. Some people did. I know I did. And then overeating with the mindset of, well, what's the point of doing this? What's the point of trying to lose weight if I, stick to the plan? These are my air quotes. Stick to the plan. And I talked about sticking to a plan last week, so do check out those videos, those lives. They're only about 20-25 minutes, so do check them out. When we find ourselves sticking to a plan or a program or a system or a method, and when we feel like we have to stick to it, and then it leads us on an emotional spiral, either overjoyed because we've lost weight, or feeling really bad about ourselves because we've stayed the same, or we've gained a small amount. And when I say small amount, I'm talking like half a pound, a pound. That to me is a fluctuation. If you gain more than that, be concerned. It may well be, and there may well be an issue there. But in this scenario, I'm talking about a small amount. And when I see people having an emotional breakdown, and then it leads them to disordered eating, and I was recognizing that in myself, I was like, it's not healthy. It's not healthy. And throughout the weight loss journey, we have to protect our mindset. We have to protect our mental health, because it's so easy to spiral. So what I did, and I say I can only talk about me, what I did when I recognized that was happening, and I recognized that my disordered eating And my emotional upset was to do with the scales. I took the scales out of the equation, took the scales out. And if you follow my journey, you'll know that I just ditched the scales and weighed in once every, whenever the sunshine here in the UK, which wasn't very often. And because I now do my YouTube channel, I weigh once a month. But before that, I just, it's not that I didn't care about the number on the scale. It was just that I put the scales in its place for me. And for some people, they weigh daily. Some people weigh multiple times a day. Some people weigh a couple of times a week. Some people weigh weekly. There's all sorts of patterns. You have to find what pattern works for you that doesn't lead you to disordered eating and feeling bad about yourself. And for me, it was as less often as possible. And then that just allowed me then just to focus in on doing all the actions that's going to bring weight loss, doing all the things, looking after myself, looking after my mental health, eating well, cooking well, prepping well, sleeping well, socializing, and having a healthy outlook. Because I would look at people who were not doing a weight loss plan, who was not part of a slimming club, who was not following keto or Atkins or counting calories, and they weren't exhibiting those behaviors that I was. They weren't stressing about, you know, what they eat or when they eat or how much they eat. They weren't stressing about, I mean, they had other stresses in life. Yes, let's be honest about that. But they weren't ever thinking, oh, I need to eat this because that's going to help me lose weight on the scale. They weren't thinking, oh, I need to eat this, even though I don't enjoy it, because that's going to get me a pound off on the scales. They weren't thinking, oh, I need to do, you know, go for a long walk because that's going to help me lose weight. They were just doing it, those things, because that was life, that was their lifestyle, and they were doing it, they were enjoying it. And I was looking at that and I thought, that's how I want to be, that's how I want to live my life. I want to live my life, make really good choices, healthy choices for me, that enables me to live the life I want to live and still lose weight without it impacting my mental health, without me, you know, having an emotional breakdown because I've stayed the same or gained half a pound or didn't lose as much as I wanted to lose. I wanted to enjoy my life and think, you know what, I'm going out for a meal with my friends, and I'm going to just enjoy it and enjoy having a drink, having a meal, and I'll make the best choices whilst I'm there. But I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to stress about it. And I'm going to be realistic about my weight loss journey as well. And if 1 week I don't lose weight, I'm fine with that, because it's a journey. But over the course of a month or a couple of weeks, yes, all of these tiny little actions that I'm putting in place will result in weight loss. And it has done. So for me, on the plan that I was following, it was causing me so much anxiety and emotional upset. I decided, that's it, I'm putting those scales away. So I put the scales away, and I only weigh once a month now. The other thing I did is I stopped tracking. For me, tracking my points or calories or sins, for me, that was affecting my mental health. And I was like, you know, I can't eat this because it's 16 points, or I've got all these points left over, I need to use. For me, that wasn't normal. It was like back in the day when I used to count calories, and I was like, well, how many calories is this? I couldn't pick anything up in the supermarket without reading the packet and reading how many calories is in it. And I was like, that's not how I want to live. I was like, You know, I've got to weigh and measure every morsel that goes into my mouth. I was like, that's not how I want to live. I want to find a way to lose weight that is going to fit into the life and the lifestyle that I want to live. And it's a balance. It's a balance. So what I did, I went on this journey whilst I was still tracking my food and weighing and measuring, and I was educating myself about the portion sizes, the type of foods that work for me, the type of foods that support my body with good nutrition, all the crap, the CRAP. Remember, I've often talked about the crap, which stands for the carbonated, the additives, the refined sugars, and all the processed foods. I started to reduce all of that crap, moving towards whole food, and just having portions that were right for me, but also listening to my body and listening to when my body said, that's it, you're full now, you're full. And started doing all of these things in a very intuitive way. Just took the pressure off me, took the pressure off. And I'm now, with my mental and emotional health, in such a much better place, because I was like, I'm removing any self-imposed barriers that I was putting on myself that was causing me emotional distress and affecting my mental health. But I was also breaking down and pushing aside all of those barriers that the weight loss and wellness industry imposes as well, and around the plan that I chose to follow. But it didn't happen overnight, guys. It's taken me 5 years to get to this point where, one, I recognized the impact it was having on me, but also how to break out of that so that emotionally and mentally it wouldn't impact me. And that was a journey around education. I had to educate myself around the foods, the activities, the lifestyle that supports me. So yeah, it's a journey. It is very much a journey. So yeah, you know, the weight loss journey has got its peaks, it's got its troughs, but I think amongst all of that, it's a journey of learning. We have to always be open to learning about ourselves and what works for us, but also to find ways to manage and protect our mental health. It's so important to do that, to protect our mental health and our emotional health through this. So I'd love to know, guys, what do you do to protect and manage your mental health? Pop it in the chat box. I'm going to upload this video shortly, but pop it in the chat box below, in the comments box below. Let me know, what do you do to protect and manage your mental health? Do you struggle with your emotional mental health? How does the scales impact you? How does weighing and measuring impact you? How does, you know, following a plan or a program or a system or a method impact you? I'd love to know. Yeah, pop it in the comments box below. Well, guys, it is that time. I am parked up and I've got to get in. It's week 3 of my training. It's very interesting. I'm really enjoying it. The hours just absolutely fly by, which is just as well because it is very intensive. We start at 9:30 and don't finish till 4:30 at the latest. Very intensive, but it's all good. I'm all about learning, so guys, thank you so much for being here with me, and I will be back tomorrow roughly about the same time, and I will be doing another live. So guys, if this is your first time with me, feel free to hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell. You know how YouTube works now. Also, give this video a thumbs up, and that would really help the algorithm. And also pop a comment in the comment box below and let me know how you look after your mental health and emotional health on the weight loss journey. Yeah, this is, you know, it's such a big topic, and you know, I'm going to cover that in more detail, you know, in future sessions. So yeah, yeah, do let me know what you think. Okay guys, I will see you very soon. Somebody's just parked in my space. I've got to go tell them now. Okay, see you soon guys. Bye.